All right, so here is your mystery seesaw for the day. Okay, so what you guys are going to work on is doing over that constructed response races that we did a few weeks ago. I took a look at them, and you fall into the category of probably just about got it, or maybe you didn't get a chance to participate. So I'm going to go over this again. I'm going to go over it slowly, and then you're going to kind of do a redo on Seesaw. Okay? So the first thing we see here is focus on races for constructed responses. That's what CR stands for. Okay? That's a place where we want you to write a paragraph, pretty much, in any assessment. Okay? So we're going to race our way to a great constructed response on a common assessment, which we will have at the end of the week. Okay? All right, so we learned a lot about races for a constructed response. Do you guys kind of remember that? RACES, restate, answer, cite evidence, explain the evidence, and sum up. Okay, this is going to be really useful when you get into those common assessments and link it, and you see that there's a blank spot for you to write here. Okay, should we just answer this in one sentence? That's an overwhelming no way. Okay, it says a well-constructed paragraph right here. Let's practice. Okay, so R stands for restate. All right, use the question stem as a sentence starter by moving the words around in the question to create a statement. For example, question, why should you use the racist strategy? Restate. You should use the racist strategy because. Okay, now we don't stop there. When we see those three dots, the ellipses, that means we want to go on with the sentence. Okay? All right, let's try it. What's the weather outside today? Okay? Now go look out your window. Oh, really? It's really sunny where I live. You see how I did that? Pretended like, yeah. All right, good. Let's get more academic, though. Okay, so this is a prompt we had, and it's going to kind of be similar to what you'll see. What is the mood of Barefoot Days by Rachel Fields? Write a paragraph explaining how the author uses imagery to create that mood. Use evidence from the text to support your answer. Okay? Now, our restate, now since it's a question but not really a prompt, sometimes it's a statement, it's a little tricky. Okay? The mood of Barefoot Days, a poem by Rachel Fields is, and then you're going to kind of list the mood. Okay? That's your restate. Then we're going to answer. A stands for answer the question or prompt. Try not to use I think or in my opinion because this is formal writing, and in formal writing, you guys, we have to be kind of objective. Okay? So instead, state your opinion as a fact. It makes your argument stronger too. Make it sound like your idea is obviously the right one. We all know it is. Add a because and give 3 reasons why you might think this is true, or just one in our case. Okay, for example, in my opinion, you should use races versus everyone should use races because it's structured, shows how to cite evidence, and is detailed. Okay, now the answer to the weather question, the silly weather question, right? The weather outside is. Okay, the weather outside is really rainy. That's our R and our A. That's our real world example. Our academic example, A. The poet uses imagery to create that mood by using words that. Now I'm leaving the blank here because I want you guys to think about these things. Okay? You can totally pause this, use it when you're writing, but you have to kind of get in there and be like, oh, words that what? Okay, that's part of this. Okay, finally, C, cite evidence. C stands for cite evidence. Prove it. Identify where the answer can be found by someone else, me, or anyone. You may not say, I know this because I read the book, because that just sounds silly, right? Not academic at all. Explain your quote and evidence, all right? Source of evidence, in our case right now, it's going to be our poem. And some sentence starters. The text states, comma, quote, and then you're going to put the exact quote, period, end quote, page number in parentheses, or line number, or on page, or we'll say on line 7, it says, comma, quote, and then you put it in there, okay? All right, I have more examples here in case you want to snip them. This might be more tailored to like science or global studies, the graph states, or the author wrote, comma, quote, and that's where you would use that one for English. Okay, or according to the text, comma, and then you might give some indirect evidence. And you really want to quote them. I don't really love this quote shows, but I like what the author means is, or this is evidence that, and then you want to add that because. Okay. All right. So back to that weather question. For example, I woke up, looked out the window, and determined that it was raining cats and dogs. Was it really raining cats and dogs? No, it's an idiom. Okay? We'll learn more about them later. The academic thing to say in this case would be, for example, comma, in line 3, comma, the poet uses the phrase, comma, quote, and then you're going to write exactly what they do. Okay? Now, on to explain, which is like super important. Like I told you guys, explaining and expanding upon your reasoning is a total 8th grade thing. Okay, you got to dig deep in that brain of yours. All right, E stands for elaborate, explain, extend. Expand on your knowledge by broadening the topic and making connections, explaining how your thinking progressed, explaining the importance, giving examples, and acknowledging the opponent's viewpoint. Okay, explain your elaboration. And here are some sentence starters for that. Okay, I like this shows. I mean, I think it does the trick, right? Or this proves. Just like in the TEDs. I told you guys, TEDs, and its TEDS car for writing multi-paragraph essays is very close to races. All right. So E, explain with our weather example. This shows what the weather is like. It is important because someone might find this information useful if they're headed outside for the afternoon. And the academic one that we're working on as an example is the imagery that the poet uses to make the reader feel. And then I kind of have another ellipses, a dot here. You're going to kind of explain that and tell us this is important because that's important. Okay, and then finally, some places just do race. I like to tie it all up nice and neat with a bow, with an S, summarize. All right, S stands for sum it up, wrap up your thoughts in a solid, relevant conclusion that summarizes your ideas, some starters. In conclusion, comma, it's a sum up, all in all. And then you're just going to kind of restate your answer. Okay, for our weather one, in conclusion, the fact that it's raining clearly shows what the weather is like. Academic, the one we're working on. In conclusion, the poet uses blank to create the feeling of blank. Okay, so now you're already in here, but you're going to go on to pages 2 and 3, and let me show you that real quick. Okay, this is 2 and 3. 1 is where the video was. Okay, and then I kind of have things to like direct your eye around the screen here. I'm going to use my fireworks one that I love so much. You're going to do number 1, read the prompt to yourself again. Highlight any English class-specific words. Okay, number 2, reread the poem. Highlight any imagery you see. Notice how it makes you feel. Okay, number 3, read the prompt again. I know this is a lot of reading, but you can do it. Break down what it's asking you to do. Find the purpose, find the task, find the keywords. And then number 4, you can't see it because my face is in the way. You're going to go over here and you're going to use this little organizer here. I just have the races listed out to write in paragraph form. And if you want to go back to this video for some starters, go ahead. You can also click right here, down here, put the fireworks on, and that'll give you the starters too. It's the slideshow. But you can kind of put the pointer here and you can double click and you can start typing. Yours won't have fireworks because mine is really cool. All right, hopefully this helps clear it out with the practice that you have. Maybe you didn't get a chance to do it. Maybe you were almost there. I just kind of wanted to show you what I'm looking for.